don't know if I talked about this at all, but I had my paths in trying to make plans to end everything. And I'm going to share one or two things I have done. Practically, there's plenty more. But let's start off with this one time. I was going through a lot in my teenage years. This was right before I had said yes to an arranged marriage. My mother used to belittle me, talk bad about me. She used to call me names. She would make phone calls, talk about me even more, call me names, spread false accusations around my neighborhood about me, and I'm a teen. Again, I didn't know what I did to deserve it. All I knew that it hurt that it came from her because she brought me here. She was responsible for me. I had no choice but to be attached to her because she's the mother. This one time I remember I had cried so much. If I remember correctly, she had went to the laundry with my other siblings. I was left alone. She had left my younger sibling who was asleep in the room, which I didn't know at that time, but I guess she had left him sleeping in the house. So I had one of my mental breakdowns, and I remember crying so much, not knowing what to do with my life, like just feeling basically empty. And at that time, I was remembering my father, always needing my father, just mad that my father wasn't there. Like I just didn't have anything. I just kept telling myself I have no reason to live. I don't want anything in life anymore. Like I was just basically tired. And I went to the kitchen and grabbed a knife. I went back into the room and I sat down with the knife, taking my last deep breaths, like I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. It's going to be over soon. And I sat there and I just bawled my eyes out because I just wanted everything to be completely over. I had took the knife and I was deciding what length on my wrist I should cut and just call it a day. And I remember just shaking and crying even more. And then all of a sudden, the door opens. At this time, my 2-year-old little brother, he walks in the room and he sees me with the knife in my hand. And at that time, I just felt defeated. He looks at me and then he starts crying and I start crying even more. And then I dropped the knife. And he sat on my lap, still crying, and I started crying even more. I absolutely felt defeated. The only thing at that time that saved me from doing what I was about to do was that child walking in the room, seeing me, and just like that, God showed me the purpose to continue to try. I have moments where I, like later on in the future, I have moments where I wished that he wasn't there and I could have just done it. Maybe then I would have passed away with my innocence. Maybe then I wouldn't have experienced so much more trauma. Maybe I wouldn't sometimes I don't know if I should be grateful. I don't know if I should be grateful that I survived. But I'm full of wisdom. I guess you can call it strength. But that came with a lot of heartache, emptiness, feeling like you don't belong, you don't matter. Another situation where when I was pregnant and I told my mom about it, she wasn't really happy with it. And then when I knew I wanted the guy at that time, before I knew what I know now, I only had so much for him. He gave me purpose when I had none. I was down really bad. Just wanted love. But he triggered something within me. Like I never thought I would feel something so painful in my entire life. I felt regret. I was scared. People try to make me feel positive, but all I could think was everything I came across. I didn't want to be a single mother. I didn't want my child to experience what I experienced. I didn't want to juggle my child with another person. At that moment, I didn't even understand. I didn't understand why all of that is happening to me. I felt like I didn't deserve any of it. And I remember I was so stressed. I was going through so much. Even I couldn't even focus on work. I tried to mask and appear happy, but nobody knew what was going on inside of my head. No one knew I was spiraling on a daily basis. One day I went to my mom's house. It was during the night, and I filled the bathtub up with water, and I sat, my body looking way smaller than it used to be. I kept taking deep breaths, telling myself to calm down, but anxiety was really bad. My anxiety was really bad at that time, and like my hands were shaky, like my mind wasn't here. Again, all I thought about was, for what? What? All the things I did, for what? For what? All of it, what was it for? Going out, what was it for? Thinking that I could find happiness, what was it for? Thinking that I'm lovable, what was it for? Respecting others, doing the best I can, what was it for? Trying to be a good girl, what was it for? Buying or doing anything nice, what was it for? I accomplished nothing. I accomplished nothing. And I wanted to so badly sink myself into that bathtub and not fight myself and just end it. Again, all I remembered at that time was my father. all I was thinking of. I need someone to run to. I need someone to love me. I need someone to embrace me. I want someone to tell me I am okay. I want anyone other than me. Tell me I'm okay. Tell me I can do it. Tell me I'm okay. And I didn't have anyone that I could trust. My mind was so occupied with so much negativity. Even if someone were to tell me I was okay, my mind will find a reason to tell me that they didn't actually mean it. You know who I would have taken that advice from? My father. And he wasn't here. He wasn't here. And at that time, I feel like I could have done anything. I could have done anything. I could have done anything just to hear his voice, just to embrace him. But again, what made me not do what I planned was that my mother walked by the bathroom and she stood there. I could hear, I heard her footsteps as she stopped and she called my name. I hear it the first time. I say nothing. She calls my name again. I say nothing. She says it again with concern. And finally, with my shaky voice, I say, yeah? And then she asks me, are you okay? Then I gave her silence. Then she asked again. Esnina, are you okay? I wipe my tears. And then I say again, this time I'm trying to make sure that I don't sound like I've been crying. Then I say, yes, I am okay. The amount of times I wished my mom could always check up on me like that. And the only time she did was when I was at my lowest. Like, and I'm talking about when I felt like I had zero doors to open, when everything feels like it's shutting. That's when she approaches and asks if I am okay. She wasn't being loud. She always does, like she always does. She just asked, are you okay? And I don't think she knows until this day that she saved me from, taking myself out. And it's just... But I wasn't trying to get emotional, but I it gave me hope a little bit, but eventually, I repeated again about trying to take myself out because my mental health was really bad when I was pregnant, and no one seems to ever realize that I was never okay last year. Like, no one. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna stop crying. Furthermore, let me tell you, I'm not trying to cry. I don't want to cry, but when okay, when I had the miscarriage, started off at work, I was cramping and thought it was normal. I wasn't paying too much close attention to it, and then by the time it was hitting like 12, I was bleeding pretty badly. Like, I was like dropping chunks of blood. So I go to the hospital. I go to the hospital and they confirm that I'm about to miscarry or I'm miscarrying. And well, I'm just in there by myself and they're doing all the paperwork so I can get discharged because I told them I want to go home. I don't want to sit there. I'd rather go home. So they signed me medication that I should take. And I get in my car. I get in my car knowing that I wasn't mentally okay. You know what I mean? And I spend the entire morning and the next day alone. I don't go anywhere. I just stick to myself for a little bit. Try to tell myself that I'm going to be fine. Again, knowing that I'm not fine. And then one day, I realized that I was still unhappy about everything that happened to me. I was still messed up by how everything in my life just keeps crashing down. You know what I mean? Just, I didn't know that my mental health would be even worse towards the end of my pregnancy. And it was just, there's something that I don't talk about, I don't mention often, but I hope that one day I can build the courage to talk about it. But until then, I just want to say that a couple of days after my miscarriage, I was alone in my car and I was, my mind was overstimulated. I cut everybody off. I went silent from people I know, whether it was work or not. I went silent. I cut myself off from everybody, like told myself to detach. But my mind, the way it was operating, it was like, it was very intense. And I called someone who wasn't a friend or anything. I called somebody and I asked them if they had specific meds. And they say they did. And I bought enough to basically end everything. They didn't know that's what I planned, but I did. I sat in my car, started to rethink again about everything. how my ex did, how my mom been treating me, how my family is never around me, no one checks up on me. I was just thinking and thinking and thinking, and then I was thinking my ex probably just used me. He probably just wanted to just sleep with me. He didn't want anything more, just to sleep with me. Started thinking about what his mom said about me. I just started thinking, and I have no answers to some of the questions I had. I just started crying even more, and I'm like, if only I had taken myself out and I had planned to, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't feel the way I do. I wouldn't cry over everything that's happening to me. I would have been like, it was just all bad. It was too much. Like, my mind was filled with all this hatred against myself. The trauma I experienced, all of it was kicking back in, and no matter what I did, it repeats over and over and over, and I'm like, damn. Like, damn, I thought I would be happier right now. I thought I would be doing better in my life. But no. No. When you don't have enough money for therapy, you're messed up. If you don't have family that loves you, you're messed up. If your siblings don't really check up on you, you're messed up. I just felt like a failure. First of all, I always knew that I would fail to be a parent. So I just bawled my eyes out. But at the end of that night, I took that medication, and the last thing I remembered, it was 11 at night. And I still woke back up. It was 6 a.m. in the morning, and the sun was in my face. My ears were ringing. My body was so cold. My body was so cold. I couldn't feel my tongue. I had no sense of touch in my hands. My feet, when I walked, I couldn't feel the ground. Like, my body temperature was so low. You don't plan to take killers to wake up. I didn't take those painkillers to get up. But it wasn't my time. So, so God woke me up. Yeah, just like that. He said, "Go ahead. Here's your chance again. Like, you could do better. You will thrive, and it will be over." My family would have had to bury me, and I wouldn't have worried about things. But I woke up, and with everything that I'm going through right now, I have days where I really regret certain things happening. Like, it feels more of a curse to be alive than a gift, you know? And I'm trying so hard not to cry, but it's the trauma sometimes just, um, it feels like I relive certain moments. And nobody understands. Nobody understands how much I keep failing and then being gifted a chance again. And it's like, I don't want to say I'm ungrateful. I want to be grateful. I guess that's why sometimes if you hear me talk about what I've been through with my ex or my family, I'm just trying to heal. I'm doing all this on my own. I'm doing it by myself. And I know one day I could probably look back and say I did it. But why did it have to be the people that I love that hurt me the most, you know? Sometimes I think, do people think like me? When I have to be rude or mean, it hurts me more. Like, you know, to me, it's like I'm trying not to be rude or mean, but you're not even trying. You don't even care. But it's okay. It's okay. Um, I survived. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I am a survivor. And I will survive. But damn.